Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. This is Cynthia Gwiazda, Community Services Librarian at Hagaman Library in East Haven, Connecticut. So I'm going to share with you some of our new books that just came out in the adult fiction area. And these are recent holdings that we have. You can call the library at 203-468-3890 to put those on reserve or to check if we have them in available right now. So I'm going to share some of those with you now. Okay, so April reads for new adult fiction. Nice spring colors. So we're in spring now, yay! Okay, so the first book I'm going to share with you is called The Conjurer Man Dies by Rudolph Fisher. In the body of Angana Frimbo, the African conjure man, is discovered in his consultation room. Harry Dart, one of Harlem's 10 Black police detectives, is called in to investigate. Together with Dr. Archer, a physician from across the street, Dart is determined to solve the baffling mystery, helped and hindered by Bubber Brown and Jenks Jenkins, local boys keen to clear themselves of suspicion of murder and undertake their own investigations. The Conjurer Man Dies was the very first detective novel written by an African American, a distinguished doctor, an accomplished musician and dramatist. Rudolph Fisher was one of the principal writers of the Harlem Renaissance, but died in 1934 at the age of 37. With a gripping plot and vividly drawn characters, Fisher's witty novel is a remarkable time capsule of one of the most exciting eras in the history of Black fiction. This crime classic is introduced by New York crime writer Stanley Ellen and includes Rudolph Fisher's last published story, John Archer's Nose, in which Perry Dart and Dr. Archer return to solve the case of a young man murdered in his own bed. That's The Conjurer Man Dies by Rudolph Fisher. The next book is called White Ivy by Susie Yang. Ivy Lynn is a thief and a liar, but you'd never know it by looking at her. Raised outside of Boston, Ivy's immigrant grandmother relies on Ivy's mild appearance for cover as she teaches her granddaughter how to pilfer items from yard sales and secondhand shops. Thieving allows Ivy to accumulate the trappings of a suburban teen, and most importantly, to attract the attention of Gideon Speyer, the golden boy of a wealthy political family. But when Ivy's mother discovers her trespasses, punishment is swift and Ivy is sent to China, and her dream instantly evaporates. Years later, Ivy has grown into a poised yet restless young woman, haunted by her conflicting feelings about her upbringing and her family. Back in Boston, when Ivy bumps into Sylvia Speyer, Gideon's sister, a reconnection with Gideon seems not only inevitable, but it feels like fate. Slowly, Ivy sinks her claws into Gideon and the entire Speyer clan by attending fancy dinners and weekend getaways to the Cape. But just as Ivy is about to have everything she's ever wanted, a ghost from her past resurfaces, threatening the nearly perfect life she's worked so hard to build. Filled with surprising twists and a nuanced exploration of class and race, White Ivy is a glimpse into the dark side of a woman who yearns for success at any cost. That's called White Ivy by Susie Yang. So the next book is called The Arctic Fury by Greer Callister. Eccentric Lady Jane Franklin makes an outlandish offer to adventurer Virginia Reeve. Take a dozen women, trek into the Arctic, and find her husband's lost expedition. 4 parties have failed to find him, and Lady Franklin wants a radical new approach, put the women in charge. A year later, Virginia stands trial for murder. Survivors of the expedition willing to publicly support her sit in the front row. There are only 5. What happened out there on the ice? Set against the unforgiving backdrop of one of the world's most inhospitable locations, USA Today best-selling author Greer McAllister uses the true story of Lady Jane Franklin's tireless attempts to find her husband's lost expedition as a jumping-off point to spin a tale of bravery, intrigue, perseverance, and hope. That is called The Arctic Fury by Greer McAllister. The next book is called Body of Stars by Laura Maylene Walter. Celeste Morton has eagerly awaited her passage to adulthood. Like every girl, she was born with a set of childhood markings, the freckles, moles, and birthmarks on her body that foretell her future and that of those around her. And with puberty will come a new set of predictions that will solidify her fate. The possibilities are tantalizing enough to outweigh the worry, and the future she dreams of won't be the one she's fated to have, and the fear of her changeling period. The time when women are nearly irresistible to men, and the risk of abduction is rife. Celeste's beloved brother, Miles, is equally anticipating her transition to adulthood. As a skilled interpreter of the future, a field that typically excludes men, Miles considers Celeste his practice ground and the only clue to what his own future will bring. But when Celeste changes, she learns a devastating secret about Miles's fate, a secret that could destroy her family, a secret she will do anything to keep. Yet Celeste isn't the only one keeping secrets, and when the lies of brother and sister collide, it leads to a tragedy that will irrevocably change Celeste's fate, set her on a path to fight against the inherent misogyny of fortune-telling, and urge her to create a future that is truly her own. Perfect for fans of Lenny Zumas's Red Clocks and Naomi Alderman's The Power Body of Stars is a unique and timely The Power Body of Stars is a unique and timely exploration of girlhood, womanhood, and toxic masculinity. A piercing indictment of rape culture, it is an inventive and urgent read about what happens when women are objectified and stripped of choice, and what happens when they fight back. That's called Body of Stars by Laura Maylene Walter. The next book is How the One-Armed Sister Sweeps Her House by Sherry Jones. In Baxters Beach, Barbados, Layla's grandmother Wilma tells of the story of the one-armed sister. It's a cautionary tale about what happens to girls who disobey their mothers and go into the Baxters tunnels. When she's grown, Layla lives on the beach with her husband, Aiden, a petty criminal with endless charisma, who's thwarted burglary of one of the beach mansions sets off a chain of events with terrible consequences. A gunshot no one was meant to witness, a new mother whose baby is found lifeless on the beach, a woman torn between two worlds and incapacitated by grief, and 2 men driven into the tunnels by desperation and greed who attempt a crime that will risk their freedom and their lives. How the One-Armed Sister Sweeps Her House is an intimate and visceral portrayal of interconnected lives across race and class in a rapidly changing resort town told by an astonishing new author of literary fiction. That's called The One-Armed Sister Sweeps Her House by Sherry Jones. The Kindest Lie by Nancy Johnson. A promise could betray you. It's 2008, and the inauguration of President Barack Obama ushers in a new kind of hope. In Chicago, Ruth Tuttle, an Ivy League educated Black engineer, is married to a kind and successful man. He's eager to start a family, but Ruth is uncertain. She has never gotten over the baby she gave birth to and was forced to leave behind when she was a teenager. She had promised her family she'd never look back, but Ruth knows that to move forward, she must make peace with the past. Returning home, Ruth discovers the Indiana factory town of her youth is plagued by unemployment, racism, and despair. As she begins digging into the past, she unexpectedly befriends Midnight, a young white boy who is also adrift and looking for connection. Just as Ruth is about to uncover a burning secret her family desperately wants to keep hidden, a traumatic incident strains the town's already searing racial tension, sending Ruth and Midnight on a collision course that could upend both their lives. Powerful and revealing, The Kindest Lie captures the heartbreaking divide between Black and white communities and offers both an unflinching view of motherhood in contemporary America and the never-ending quest to achieve the American dream. That's The Kindest Lie by Nancy Johnson. Good Neighbors by Sarah Langan. Welcome to Maple Street, a perfect slice of suburban Long Island. Its residents bound by their children, their work, and their illusion of safety in a rapidly changing world. But menace skulks beneath the surface of this exclusive enclave, making its residents prone to outrage. When the Wild family moves in, they trigger their neighbors' worst fears. Dad Arlo's a gruff, has been rock star with track marks. Mom Gertie's got a thick Brooklyn accent with high heels and tube tops to match. They're weird kids cussed like sailors. They don't fit in with the way Maple Street sees itself. Though Maple Street's queen bee, Rhea Schroeder, a lonely college professor repressing a dark past, welcomed Gertie and her family at first. Relations went south during one spritzer-fueled summer evening, when the new best friend shared too much too soon. By the time the story opens, the Wilds are outcasts. As tensions mount, a sinkhole opens in a nearby park, and Rhea's daughter, Shelley, falls inside. A search for Shelley brings a shocking accusation against the Wilds. Suddenly, it is one mom's word against the others, and a court of public opinion that can end only in blood. A riveting and ruthless portrayal of American suburbia, Good Neighbors excavates the perils and betrayals of motherhood and friendships, and the dangerous clash between social hierarchy, childhood trauma, and fear. That's called Good Neighbors by Sarah Langan. The War Widow by Tara Moss. Sydney, 1946. Though war correspondent Billy Walker is happy to finally be home, for her, the heady post-war days are tarnished by the loss of her father and the disappearance in Europe of her husband, Jack. To make matters worse, now that the war is over, the newspapers are sidelining her reporting talents to prioritize jobs for returning soldiers. But Billy is a survivor, and she's determined to take control of her own future. She reopens her late father's business, a private investigation agency, and slowly the women of Sydney come knocking. At first, Billy's bread and butter is tailing cheating husbands. Then a young man, the son of European immigrants, goes missing, and Billy finds herself on a dangerous new trail that will lead up into the highest levels of Sydney society and down into its underworld. What is the young man's connection to an exclusive dance club and a high-class auction house? When the people Billy questions about the young man start to turn up dead, Billy is thrown into the path of Detective Inspector Hank Cooper. Will he take her seriously, or will he just get in her way? As the danger mounts and Billy realizes that much more than one young man's life is at stake, it becomes clear that though the war is won, it is far from over. That's The War Widow by Tara Moss. And that concludes our little presentation on some of Hagaman Memorial Library's new adult fiction. So I hope you will call the library 203-468-3890, and you can request those titles if you're interested. If they're checked out, you can place a hold on them. Also, beginning on Monday, April 19th, you can call us, same number, 203-468-3890, and you can book a browsing appointment. There's more details on that on our website, so please check that out. It's www.hagaman.library.org. So if you go to our website, you can learn more about our upcoming browsing appointments beginning Monday, April 19th. So that will be starting up. So you will actually be able to come in and browse some of our new materials. That will be coming up as well. And I hope you've enjoyed this presentation and have a wonderful afternoon. And please have a nice, wonderful holiday weekend coming up. And I will see you next time to review more adult fiction. So have a great afternoon.